Imagine this. You're standing in a showroom or maybe just scrolling online late at night, looking at something you've wanted for a long time. It could be a car, a house, even a piece of tech. The price is right there in front of you, clear, fixed. It feels definable. You start doing the math in your head. If I can afford this number, I can own this. And in that moment, ownership feels like a finish line, a point where the journey ends and satisfaction begins. You imagine the feeling of having it, the comfort, the status, the sense that you've moved forward in life. And so the decision forms around that one visible number, the price. But what no one really prepares you for is what happens after that moment, after the purchase is done, after the excitement fades, after the thing becomes part of your everyday life. Because ownership doesn't end at the price, it begins there. And slowly, quietly, the real cost starts revealing itself, not all at once, but over time, in small, almost invisible ways that never feel like a single decision, but together shape your financial reality. At first, it's manageable, almost unnoticeable. A small expense here, a maintenance cost there, maybe a subscription, maybe an upgrade, maybe something you didn't think about when you first decided to buy. None of it feels overwhelming individually. In fact, it all feels reasonable, necessary even, because once you own something, maintaining it becomes part of the experience, and that's where the psychology shifts. You're no longer deciding whether to spend, you're maintaining what you already committed to. Over time, something subtle begins to happen. The original price, the number that once felt so important, starts to matter less than the ongoing cost of keeping that thing in your life. And that cost isn't just financial, it's mental, it's structural. It's the space it occupies in your budget, your attention, your decisions. Ownership begins to demand consistency. It asks you to sustain a certain level of income, a certain level of stability, just to keep things running smoothly. Now imagine this effect not with one purchase, but with multiple layers of life: a home, a car, subscriptions, lifestyle choices, commitments, each one added at a different time, each one feeling justified in the moment. But together they form a system where your income is no longer just supporting your life, it's supporting your past decisions. And this is where the idea of double the cost starts to make sense in a deeper way. Because the true cost of ownership is not the price you pay up front, it's the total weight it adds to your life over time. At some point, you may notice something strange. Even as your income grows, your sense of financial space doesn't expand the way you expected. Because every increase in income is quietly absorbed by maintaining the things you already own. The system expands with you. And instead of feeling freer, you feel more committed, more responsible, more tied to a certain level of performance just to keep everything in place. Around this point, it's worth pausing for a moment. If you're watching this and starting to recognize how ownership has shaped your financial life in ways you didn't expect, you're on Prime Gorilla, where we break down the deeper psychology behind money, lifestyle, and if this perspective is hitting you, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who's thinking about a big purchase, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because once you zoom out further, ownership reveals itself as something more than a financial transaction. It becomes a commitment to a future version of your life. Every time you buy something significant, you're not just paying for the object, you're agreeing to the ongoing cost of keeping it, the time, the attention, the money, the stability required to support it. And most people don't consciously evaluate that second layer. They focus on whether they can afford the purchase, not whether they can comfortably sustain the ownership. This is where human behavior plays a powerful role, because we are naturally drawn to the visible cost, the one-time number. It feels concrete, controllable, but the ongoing cost is abstract. It's spread across months and years, making it harder to fully feel in the moment of decision. And because of that, people consistently underestimate it, not out of carelessness, but because the brain prioritizes immediate clarity over long-term accumulation. And this is why ownership can quietly become restrictive. Not because the things themselves are bad, but because each one reduces your flexibility just a little. Each commitment narrows your margin. Each responsibility ties a part of your future income to maintaining your present lifestyle. And when enough of these layers build up, your financial life becomes less about choice and more about upkeep. The deeper realization here is not that you shouldn't own things, it's that ownership should be understood in its full form. Not just the excitement of acquisition, but the reality of maintenance. Because when you start seeing both sides clearly, your decisions change. You begin to value flexibility more. You become more selective about what you bring into your life, not because you're avoiding spending, but because you understand the long-term structure each decision creates. And something interesting happens when you adopt this perspective. You stop measuring wealth by what you own and start measuring it by how much of your income remains uncommitted, how much space you have, how much freedom exists between what you earn and what your life demands. Because that space is what allows you to adapt, to move, to make decisions without pressure. And that leads to the final perspective shift. The real cost of ownership is not what it takes to buy something, it's what it takes to keep it without losing your flexibility. Because the more your life is built on fixed commitments, the less room you have to change direction when life inevitably shifts. In a world that constantly encourages you to acquire more, the real advantage comes from understanding when not to. From recognizing that every new layer of ownership is also a layer of responsibility, and that true financial strength is not just about what you can afford to buy, but what you can afford to maintain without pressure. Outro. If this video made you rethink what ownership really costs, then you're already seeing what most people miss. This is Prime Gorilla, where we go beyond surface-level money advice and explore the deeper systems shaping your financial life.
If this video opened your eyes, make sure you subscribe, because what you learn today can save your future tomorrow.